Hello, everyone. My name is Yongkang. Today, I'm going to show you how to build a ROSA Kubernetes cluster on AWS Cloud. For those of you who are not aware, ROSA is a Red Hat OpenShift Service on AWS Cloud, short as ROSA. Basically, it's a managed OpenShift cluster on AWS. Let's get started. So first of all, why OpenShift? I did a search on Singapore popular job website. I noticed there are totally right now 844 Kubernetes jobs are open. Among all of these, so there are 191 jobs open for OpenShift. And in the meantime, only 13 jobs for Rancher and 5 jobs for Tanzu, VMware Tanzu. So you can also verify from www.mycareersfuture.gov.sg. And secondly, so my survey results also show OpenShift container platform is more popular than VMware Tanzu and also Rancher. And thirdly, the Analyst Forest Wave from last Q3 for the multi-cloud development platform positioned Red Hat as a clear leader in terms of the strong kernel offering and also strong strategy. And in the meantime, you can see the cycle of the size of the cycle also means the market presence. So clearly, Red Hat OpenShift is a market leader. So let's get started. First of all, where can I deploy OpenShift container platform? Literally anywhere. Whatever it's a public cloud platform, private cloud, or IBM hardware, or any other bare metal or platform or agnostic infrastructure. So today I'm going to focusing on how to deploy OpenShift container platform on AWS Cloud. So there are quite a little bit prerequisites here. So first of all, you need to have an AWS Cloud account, and you need to log in as an IAM account, not the root account, okay? And secondly, you need to have a Red Hat account. So you need to log into Red Hat Hybrid Cloud Console. We need to get a token code from there. Thirdly, the most important part, by default, actually AWS Cloud are not allow you to create an OpenShift container platform cluster. You need to increase the service quota for EC2 instance and for the right quota code listed here. So you can go directly to this link, or you can go to AWS Cloud Console and search for service quotas. And make sure you increase the character quota code. It's called running on demand standard instances. I actually initially made a mistake. I selected spot instance, and then I waited for a couple hours, and somebody increased the quota for me from our AWS support team. And then I verified, still got the issues because I selected the wrong instance type. So basically, you need to increase the quota from default 64 to 100. So now let me actually show you from the console. So first of all, if you log into the AWS console, if you search ROSA and you click Red Hat OpenShift Service on AWS, you will see this screen. By default, the service wasn't enabled. If the service wasn't enabled, there is an orange rectangle box like this. It will say enable OpenShift. Once you click enable, it takes about 1 minute to enable the service. And then how to increase the service quota? You just search service quota. And it will take you to this page. And from left side, you click AWS services and find the service. You search EC2, and you select the AWS EC2 instance here. And most likely, people might get a mistake like me. So from the first page, you saw all standard. So this is the one I initially increased. But then I realized it doesn't work. Yeah, because this is a spot instance, it doesn't work. What you can do is you do a search on demand and then select the right one, running on demand standard instance. And then click request quota increase and make this number to 100. That's minimum required. For the correct region, I was using US East -2. So then click request. I already did. So I already got the 100 as you can see from the screen. Now let me come back to the screen. So from here, what are the steps? Let me come back to the slide deck. What are the steps to build a ROSA cluster? First of all, you need to log into AWS Cloud Console, enable ROSA in your AWS account. So I already did that. If you want to go direct link, this is a direct link from our AWS Cloud. And then you need to open AWS Cloud Shell. And also you need to download and install 3 CLI. So one is ROSA and OC, that's OpenShift client, and also kubectl need to be installed. So I just copy paste the whole line. It is actually multiple commands, but we will install the 3 required CLI. And then you need to log into the CLI, verify the credentials and verify the quota before you can actually deploy the cluster. So once you've done all of these, you're ready to go to deploy the cluster. So let me come back to the console. First of all, I need to log into the Cloud Shell. I already logged into the Cloud Shell. I copy the whole command here. Oh, sorry, it's not this one. I need to copy the command, copy the right command. So I copied the right command from my screen earlier. So after the command, it only take a couple of seconds. It's done. And then I can verify, I can ROSA log in. And also now I need to paste the token code. Where to get the token code? So basically you access Red Hat console. Let me open new tab. So copy this link. So you will be asked to log in if you haven't logged in. If you already logged in, it will give you the token code. You copy the token code, come back to the terminal, paste the token code here, press enter. Now I logged in. So the next command is we're going to show you ROSA who am I? So this is me. So I run the ROSA who am I? This is me, my account details. And the last step is verify the quota. So you can see validating AWS quota. AWS quota is okay, so all good. So now we are ready to deploy the cluster. So now let me come back to the slide deck. So how to deploy a ROSA cluster? So first of all, you need to create the account rules. If you haven't created first, so this is only, you only need to run once. Once you create it, next time you don't have to recreate. And secondly, you just copy the whole command, ROSA create cluster, followed by cluster name. And you can choose the mode. It's automatic or you can choose manual, which is takes more time, multiple steps. I don't choose that. And followed by automatically answer yes. And I want to specify the particular version. I don't want to go to the latest 4.9, and then you end it, but you don't have the chance to see how the upgrade works. So I choose the most recent stable version, 4.8.17. Yeah, once you kick off the job, you can verify the installation status running ROSA list clusters, or to check the details, you can run ROSA describer cluster followed by the cluster name. So now let me come back to the console again. So first of all, I need to create the rules, the required IAM rules and the policies. So I run this command, rules are create, account rules, followed by the mode is automatic. I don't want to manually create the IAM rules. So now I created all of these required rules. So the next command is I'm going to create the ROSA cluster. So with this command, hold on, there is something is wrong here. And failed to execute. Yeah, it looks like there is a special characters in the command I copied earlier. Let me copy paste the right command. Now you can see I copy pasted the right command. ROSA create a cluster followed by the version name. Now the cluster is creating. This step, it does take about around 30 to 40 minutes. So while we're running, the job already kicked off. So what we can do is we can verify the cluster running ROSA list clusters. It will show you the clusters right now. It's waiting for creating. And if you want to check the details, you can copy the command from my slide deck. It's a ROSA describe a cluster name, and the cluster ROSA describe a cluster followed by the cluster name. Yeah, it looks like I copy paste from PowerPoint. It doesn't work quite well. ROSA describe a cluster name, ROSA 1. Yeah, the copy paste just doesn't work. So I just retype the whole command. You can see right now the status is pending. We are preparing the account. And if you want to list the cluster again, you can see the status right now, it's pending. So it was initially waiting, now it's pending. And there is a watch command actually. Let me see. So how can I, oh yes, it's here. So not only you can describe the cluster, so if I do the describe the cluster, you can see, so this is my cluster. It is now installing, DNS setup in progress. You can also watch the cluster status running this command from here. So ROSA logs install. You can watch the cluster is creating. So ROSA logs install dash cluster C cluster name, and you can watch the cluster is in installing state, waiting for installation to begin. Logs will show up within 5 minutes. So as I say, this step, it does take some time. Let me pause the recording and we will come back. Just to show you the cluster is creating and it's progressing. And if I jump to AWS Console, if I go to the EC2 instance, so you can see, first of all, they actually create a bootstrap machine. Let me pause again. We will come back. Yeah, as I say, the steps does take around 30 to 40 minutes. Just to show you, it is still progressing. So behind the scene, actually, it was using Terraform. You can see the Terraform plan. And then I believe it is applying. It is right now, the Terraform applying right now. And you can see now 592 of 681 already done, 86% already complete. if I come back to AWS Cloud Console, you can see, if I do a refresh, you can see. So right now we already have, okay, we got our bootstrap machine. It's already finished the job. So now it's already terminated. So it created 3 master nodes, instance type M5.2x large. And now it is creating 2 work nodes. 2 work nodes also showing running right now, M5x large, that's for the work nodes. I believe there is 2 infra nodes as well. It hasn't been created yet. So I'm gonna pause again and we will come back. Okay, looks like the cluster is ready, as you can see from the screen. So let's verify from our AWS console. If I go to AWS console, do a refresh, you can see these are the AWS EC2 instances created by the ROSA create command. So you can see you got 3 master nodes, M5, 2x large, and you got 2 infra nodes, R5.x large, and you got 2 work nodes. That's by default. By default, we actually need, you know, how many here? That's 7 EC2 instances. So if I do a refresh again, the status will be everything is good or up running. Now let me come back to the slide deck. So I'm actually just add another command towards bottom of the screen. So you run the ROSA logs install -c cluster name --watch to check the installation status. So now how to log into the console? You need to create an admin user. So how to create an admin user? So you just run this command, ROSA create admin --cluster equal the cluster name. And then after you create the user, you can copy the login command and run it from your Cloud shell. And from there, you can basically verify the cluster information. You can get the node status. So let me come back to the slide to the terminal. So if I'm going to create the admin user, I run this command. So let me clear the screen. Oops. So I run this command called ROSA create admin --cluster. So the admin, actually the user already created. Now I need to copy paste the whole command here. So that's how I log into the Kubernetes cluster. So I copy paste this command. It will ask you, do you want to bypass using secure? Yes. Okay, login failed. And hold on 1 second, let me copy again. Verify you have provided the correct, I'm pretty sure I provided the correct password. Let me verify. Okay, let's continue. So I'm actually realized what's the issue. What I'm going to do is I will delete the admin user. And now I'm going to recreate the admin user. Once I create it, and then this is a command to log in, but I forgot to mention, actually it does take about 1 minute for the account to become active. If you immediately run this command, you want to be able to log in, it will, that's where it threw the error messages earlier. So let me copy this command. In the meantime, I'm going to sleep about 30 seconds. And then in the meantime, I can come back to the AWS console. Yeah, we already saw this, yeah. So we got by default, we got 3 master nodes, 2 infra nodes, 2 worker nodes, totally you got 7 instances running. If you are interested to know how many CPU by default to deploy a ROSA cluster, you actually need 40 CPUs, and plus you got 192 gigabytes of memory. So that's a default cluster, but you are more than happy to customize to add in more worker nodes based on your needs. So let me come back to the Cloud Shell. Yeah, now 30 seconds pass. Let's try again now. So I just read on the command OC login. Okay, now we logged in successfully. Just bear in mind, it does take about 1 minute before the account become active. So now if you want to verify, you can run OC cluster info to check your cluster information. And you can run OC get nodes to check your node status. So as you can see, similarly, like you can see from AWS Console, you can see 3 master nodes and 2 infra nodes and 2 worker nodes. By infra nodes also configured as a worker node, okay? So that's how we create the user. Now, before I can show you how to log into OpenShift Console, let me come back to the slide deck. So I might need to add it here. Before you run the second command, you need to wait for at least 30 seconds or plus. So now I'm going to show you how to set up an IDP, so identity provider. It is very common. You don't want to manually to manage the user from the Kubernetes cluster from OpenShift container platform. So you can easily to integrate with third-party identity provider. So I took a screenshot from Red Hat, the website. So basically you support GitHub, GitHub Enterprise, GitLab, Google, LDAP, OpenID Connect, or HT password. So I'm going to show you an example how to configure the IDP integrate with GitHub. So basically you need to log into GitHub. You create a new organization if you don't have an existing organization. And then you set up the GitHub IDP. So by running this command called ROSA create IDP -- cluster name and followed by interactive. And then you just follow the prompt to register a new OAuth application. And basically you need to copy and paste the client ID to the terminal. And also you need to generate a new client secret and paste to the terminal. Okay, let me log into GitHub page. So I open a new tab and go to my GitHub page, g.yongkang.cloud. And yeah, by the way, if you're interested to build a Kubernetes cluster for your learning, or maybe just learning how to run the Kubernetes cluster, how to run the backup and restore, I got the automation for Google Cloud, 6 minutes to build GKE plus PostgreSQL plus K10. For Azure AKS, you got about 8 minutes, AKS plus MySQL. For EKS, it will take about 25 minutes, EKS for Cassandra plus K10. If you're interested for OpenShift on IBM Cloud, so I got the automation here. You can basically one command to build the OpenShift container platform plus OpenShift container storage plus MongoDB plus K10 in 45 minutes. You just run one command. Okay, let's come back. If you don't have an organization, you click the plus sign, create a new organization. I actually already have an organization here, so you can click your organizations. So this is my organization. What we need to do is so once you created the organization here, you don't need to do anything from here now. So let me come back to the Cloud Shell. What we need to do is we run the ROSA create command. So we're going to run this command, ROSA create RDP identity provider, select the right one. So by default, it's GitHub. I'm actually using GitHub, so press enter. So choose the organization. So I use the organization. So GitHub organization name. So my GitHub organization name is called Yongkang Cloud. Press enter. And now you are asked to copy the whole link and run from the web browser and press enter. So now you got these prefilled the fields. You got a homepage URL, you got the application name, you got the authorization callback URL. You just click register application. So once you've done this step, you got the client ID here. You copy the client ID, come back to Cloud Shell, paste the client ID here, press enter. You will be asked for the client secret. So now you create, come back to GitHub page, click generate a new client secret. So login, use security key. I logged in, and now you got the client secret. So copy this client secret and come back to Cloud Shell, paste the client secret here, press enter. So now we are configuring the IDP for roles for GitHub connection. So again, you need, it might take about 1 minute for this configuration to be enabled. Before you log into the console, you need to wait at least 30+ seconds. I'm actually copying this console link first. I'm going to open a new tab and paste the link here. This is my OpenShift web console, okay? So press enter. So now let's say if 1 minute already passed. So if it's already 1 minute, it's being enabled, you should be able to see 2 options to log in. So it wasn't ready yet. So if you want to log in, basically how to log into OpenShift web console, you got 2 options. One is the by the user I created earlier. It is a cluster admin. So if I want to log in, you type a cluster admin and copy the password. The password is the one which we logged in earlier, you OC login. So if I select this one and copy that and paste here, I should be able to log in, use the username password. So I don't need to save here. So this is my OpenShift web console. So you might notice it's called Red Hat OpenShift Service on AWS. That's ROSA. So to show you how you can log in from GitHub. So let me log out again. Now we should be able to see the login option by the GitHub. So you can see you got the GitHub option here. If I click login with GitHub, so since I already logged in with my GitHub account, so I just authorize, click authorize, and then I will be redirected back to the, once you logged in, I will be redirected, come back to the web console, okay? Basically, that's about how to create an OpenShift cluster on AWS. So once, and also we configured how to integrate with GitHub as an identity provider. If I come back to here, so because I did not give some extra permissions to this user as the GitHub user. So one last thing I want to show you, actually, if I go back to GitHub page, you can invite someone to join you to be able to access the OpenShift web console. Okay, so let me log out here just to quickly show you. I want to just log in back using the cluster domain. For the password, I need to copy the right password here, paste the password and log in. So if I log in here, And yeah, you log in, you can see different stuff. If I click operators, you can see operator hub. And previously, if I log in by my GitHub page, GitHub account, I don't have the GitHub operator hub because I did not give the user right permissions yet. But you can add additional permission for GitHub account to be able to manage the whole environment. So let me come back to my slide deck. And so this is about how to set up an identity provider using, I was using GitHub as an example. So now how to access your console. So basically you can retrieve the console URL. If you want to retrieve the console URL, you can copy the, run this command, ROSA describe cluster -c cluster name grab the console. So let me show you. Before I show you, actually, so then you open a browser, you paste the URL, you can log in. You can log in via the cluster domain or via the GitHub identity provider the account. So I'm actually already showing you how to do it. So just to showing you this, if I log into AWS Cloud Console, if you don't see this web console URL, you just run this command, ROSA describe cluster, and followed by the cluster name, grab the console. This is exactly the same URL. Okay, so now once you log into the web console, you can basically to deploy your application via the operator hub. I got a link, I got a slide here to show you how to deploy app into the new OpenShift container platform. In this case, that's ROSA. So you go to your operator hub, click search. You can search, for example, if you want to deploy Redis, you just search Redis, and from there you can continue, and you can click reinstall, and you can click install to a different namespace, and you might be asked to have a name, and click create. Finally, click install. That's how you deploy the application into the OpenShift cluster. It's so easy, so simple from the UI, a couple of clicks. But if you don't, like the UI, you can, run the Helm chart installation from the familiar ways you're familiar to. And yeah, finally, once you install the application, you can verify if the application is up running. And that's pretty much all I want to cover. Oh, finally, actually. So you might want to clean up the environment once you, finish your job. So how to delete the ROSA cluster. So you can easily run this command, ROSA delete cluster, followed by the cluster name. You might want to, automatically accept the yes. And, but that only deletes the cluster. You might also want to delete separately of the operator, IAM rules, and the OpenID connector providers. If you deploy it, if you're using the operator hub, IAM rule, and the OIDC provider. So this is a command how to delete the operator rules, delete the OIDC provider. So remember, you need to change the cluster, the ID to match your actual cluster ID. Okay, and you can also watch your cluster uninstallation logs by running this command, ROSA logs uninstall -c cluster name --watch. Yeah, last but not least, just to show you a couple references, links. So if I'm not interested in, IBM AWS Cloud, I also got the instructions and also video how to create an OpenShift container platform on IBM Cloud. You visit this link, createocp.yongkang.cloud. If you are interested to say automation, to use the automation, you run one command in 45 minutes. So we're going to automate the creation of the OpenShift container platform, plus OpenShift container storage, plus MongoDB, plus also deploy custom K10, plus also running initial backup jobs. All of these can be done in one command, 45 minutes. Go to this link, ocp-ibm-k10.yongkang.cloud. And a couple of documentations about the ROSA. Red Hat OpenShift Service on AWS Cloud. The first one is ROSA workshop.io. The second one is if you go to docs.openshift.com, and there is a /ROSA. Yeah, there are a lot of details about how to configure, how to install ROSA. But I tell you what, it's too much details. You might have went lost. So that's why I created this, YouTube link, YouTube's video for you to simply to build, ROSA cluster from our AWS Cloud. Okay, finally, coming next, this is what I'm planning to do. So we already built the ROSA cluster. So the next step is I'm going to show you how to, protect the containers actually running the applications running on your ROSA cluster. And I might also do another session, talk about how to migrate the containers or, your application, your database running from our other Kubernetes cluster. Could be running from our OpenShift container platform or other Kubernetes cluster, or maybe from other cloud, or maybe from other, on-premise Kubernetes cluster to ROSA. Okay, that's pretty much all I want to cover for today. Very much appreciated for your time. Thanks for watching. If you want to connect to me, here is my email address. Here is my LinkedIn address and Twitter. You might be also interested to visit my YouTube page and also my GitHub page. Thank you very much. Have a good day.